Alright, folks. So, let me ask you a question. What if the Russian Empire reunited today? All the countries that were formerly within the Russian Empire reformed. The Tsardom came back, and Russia became an empire again. What would that look like in the modern day? Well, let's first look at their military. In terms of military, the Russian Empire would have 1,794,940 soldiers in active duty. Alright? Meaning these soldiers are actively performing military operations, either domestically or abroad. And in terms of reserve, aka military officers that are not currently military soldiers that are not currently serving orders or are easily capable of being drafted, they would have 10,646,085 soldiers. Okay? In terms of equipment, they would have 2,695 aircraft used for military purposes, 33,072 landcraft used for military purposes. This includes tanks and other forms of landcraft, and 660 naval vessels that are also used for military purposes. This would place the newly formed Russian Empire as a major military power. This Russian Empire would also have access to space and would have 45,000 nuclear weapons. But what about so that's the military. The military is really scary, alright? But what about more domestic stats? Well, let's take a look at the population. The total population would be 325,001,056 people. With a GDP of $3,510,139,000,000 US, with the average cost of living being around $639.71. If all of that wealth were to be distributed equally, only around 5.9% of the population would be in poverty. It's very unlikely that this would happen, especially given that the Tsardom would not be based around egalitarianism like the USSR was. But in general, if all that GDP were spread around in a very efficient way, only 5.9% of the population would be in poverty. In terms of the size of the Russian Empire would cover over 1/6 of the Earth. And would have 13,888,000 square miles of land, and would cover over 17 time zones. The most likely ruler of the newly formed Russian Empire would be the head of the current Russian military, Valery Gerasimov. And I probably butchered that name, but he would probably end up as the new Tsar of Russia. Alright, I hope you liked this video and I hope you learned something. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you want to support the channel. See y'all!